The cook. We're back. Everyone's going to rejoin us. Thank you so much for your patience, and really appreciate that. Going to open up our lines as well, so feel free to give us a call at 512-523-5609. Greatly appreciate that. In the meanwhile, I have a question for you. What questions would you ask yourself to discover your authentic self?
What am I good at? Right? Like, what do I enjoy doing? What, before you can really hone in on exactly what you are good at, you have to decide what you're not good at. Did you answer it? Hey, it's Dakota with Your Human Podcast.
Hey, Dakota, what's up, man? It's Frank here.
What's up?
Hey, I said I called you.
Hell yeah, man. I'm proud.
Just one last question for you. Just wondering, we talked last time about how you were awarded the nation's honor, the highest honor. And but now, after, we got through that, I was just wondering, like, if you were to accomplish everything that you ever wanted,
yeah,
what would that be, like, defined as?
Man, help us. I'm going to change the world.
Nice.
Change the world. I'm gonna make it a better place, right? Like, I'm going to remind people how great they are. I am going to make people, I'm going to show people the good over the bad. I'm going to change this whole wave of negativity we have right now. I am going to find a way to change it.
Forever and ever, right?
Forever.
I feel you on that, man.
What are you doing today?
What's that?
What are you doing today?
I was just waking up. I was getting ready to get some breakfast going. And
just waking up? Where are you at, bro? You in Hawaii?
Okay. I stayed up until like pretty late yesterday. And
doing what?
I mean, I feel so ashamed right now because, like, I know you wake up at 3. I'm like a Washington D.C. time.
Oh, so that's all right. I mean, it ain't as bad. I mean, you woke up at about 9 o'clock, right?
No, actually, I was up earlier. I guess I just took a nap. You know, I mean, like, but I usually stay up until like 6 a.m. That's kind of
to do what?
Like, I'm going to bed when you're waking up, dude.
What are you doing until 6 a.m.?
All the time, and huh?
What are you doing till 6 a.m., bro?
Playing guitar. I'm trying to be the best guitarist who ever lived.
Hell yeah, man. Well, you didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me you were getting some work in.
Yeah, man. I practice at least 8 hours a day.
Man, that's awesome. What's your favorite song to play?
Oh, well, there's this song by the Beatles called Lovely Rita, and I think it's like so complicated that it just gets me worked up, and I just kind of,
you hammer down on it?
Everything about that song.
Hell yeah. You just hammer down on it?
Yeah, I just play along with other artists, and I make my own music every once in a while, but I like just practicing a lot and just trying to get my chops up.
Hell yeah, bro. Well, keep hammering down and don't back off that goal of the best guitarist ever.
I won't, man. And maybe one day you'll be able to listen to my music, and I'll call in and I'll be like, hey, man, this is what I've been doing.
Hey, you just seen that Oliver Anthony guy. I mean, listen, there's nothing with the way the world is today. Like, bro, you just gotta put stuff out there that people can feel.
Yeah, exactly. Because the kind of feel that I'm trying to put out is that I've been through some experiences myself in my life.
Hell yeah.
And I want to be able to relay that life story through the notes that I've been playing.
Hell yeah, man.
I feel like you do with On the Dash. And,
that's right.
And Your Human Podcast.
We're all just artists in the world of canvas.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we live on a planet called Earth and has art in it. So.
Yeah, dude, you know what? You're the man. All right, well, listen, hey, I hope you have a great day.
All right, yeah, you too. Have a nice week too, by the way.
You too, brother. Thanks for calling in.
Bye-bye. See you.
What an awesome guy.
Awesome dude. Return caller too.
Up there hammering down. What did he say? He's getting some. I don't know what the guitar language is.
I actually don't either. I'm a noob when it comes to guitars.
But he was up there. I mean, I bet he's hammering down. I just picture him just cranking it out. You know what I mean?
That sounds weird.
Like I get on like Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, sir.
Like that's about as good as I get.
Same here. I have a question for you. How do you get out of your own head and start getting after it?
How do I get out of my own head and start getting after it? Well, what I do is I just start challenging my own thoughts, right? So, you know, when it really comes down to what you use as your measurable for hits and misses, right? Like every decision we make, every action we take is either a hit or a miss. And if you're not tracking it that way, then, you know, you're not living consciously, right? Like, and you really just don't give a shit. So, you know, to me, like being able to know and make sure that I'm dialed in on what I'm trying to hit, knowing that, and then, you know, getting out of my own head just comes down to me at those points, trusting. Have you ever felt like you're driving sometimes and you're like, man, I think I'm lost because I've never been here before? And then what do? Like, do you just ignore your map, or do you just go look at your map on your phone and just trust that your map's taking you there? Right? Same thing in life. You know, you got to have a fucking map. You got to know where you're going, and you got, you know, in the times that you think that you're scared or you're not going the right way or anything like that, you got to trust that the map that you put out was still in line.
Got a question here from YouTube. I got PTSD. It's hitting me like a truck. I've been out for 10 years now and thought it was good. Feels like a gorilla sitting on my chest with tinnitus and it's screaming. I'm forgetting where I'm at. What does your PTSD feel like?
I honestly don't think I have PTSD anymore. I you know, I don't know. Like I don't know. Like I guess, like, I mean, it used to, like, exactly what you're talking about, but I don't feel it anymore. Like there's never a time that I wake up and ever say, well, that's my PTSD, right? Like never a time does that cross my mind of like, I don't know. Like I feel like I wake up and have the best day of my life every single day. And so, you know, that's not like a bragging piece, but that's me like giving you hope that PTSD doesn't have to be forever, right? And if I start catching myself go back down that track, I usually start looking internally as far as like why this is doing this, right? Usually it comes down to me not doing what I know needs to fix it, right? Like me avoiding something, me putting off something that needs to be taken care of, me changing a habit that needs to be changed. You know, like I believe that everything in life that it's like math. Everything adds up. And if it doesn't add up, then you don't have the right numbers.
That's powerful. Who are 3 people? Oops, got a call.
Hey, what's going on? It's Dakota with Your Human Podcast.
Wow, I actually got through. Hey, Dakota, nice to finally talk to you.
What's up, man?
How you doing, brother?
Good, bro. How are you?
I'm good, man. My name's Donnie. I'm from Youngstown, Ohio.
Hell yeah.
How are you doing?
Good, good. What are you into today?
Oh, nothing. I just got off of work, actually. I am a corrections officer. I was previously Army infantry.
Hell yeah, bro.
Been going after it for about 7 years now.
Hell yeah. How's that correction officer, man? You guys are some hard dudes.
I tell you what, man. I actually got into it based off of my wife's uncle. He was the one that talked me into initially taking the job and everything. But I tell you what, man, I love it. Like, I hear you talking about being a firefighter and stuff like that, and I'm glad that's fulfilling. But, man, I enjoy what I do, man.
You do?
I do.
Is it crazy? Is it as crazy as these shows make it?
So it's not exactly like what you see on TV. It's more or less, I mean, you have crazy days, but there are days where also you do not. It's kind of like the military.
Yeah.
You know, like when you were deployed and all that, like when some days you get paid to do nothing, and some days shit just hits the fan. And
do these guys fuck with you a lot?
It just depends, man. Sometimes I work at a maximum security. I work at like the highest security prison in the state of Ohio. So they're locked down 23-1, but it just all depends, man. If you go in and you're firm, fair, consistent, and you're the same person every day, just like the military really helped me, like
Yeah.
transition into it because you learn how to be a leader. You know what I mean? Like you, especially like how people look up to you and how you talk to people and treat them. They treat you. They kind of like mirror that. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. Like they're obviously going to test you, right? But like they're, look,
when you're new.
Yeah, when you're new, right?
But it's almost like what, like, think about some of the kind of the NCOs and the leadership you had. There's some dudes that you got behind, and there's some dudes that you couldn't stand. It's the same thing as being a correction officer. Like if you're the same way every day and you do your job, you're about your business, you could leave every day, no problem.
That's awesome. That's badass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool, man.
So where you in Texas right now?
Yes, sir. Austin, Texas. The coolest place on earth right now.
Yeah. I actually, I've been following you for a long time. I read your book kind of like before anybody really was talking about you and before you got, I believe it came out before the Medal of Honor, didn't it?
No, it came out after, but like pretty quick after. Yeah.
Yeah. So I read it like right when it first came out. And, yeah, I've kind of just been following you for a long time, and everything you're doing, man, it's good shit for real. Like this is a great platform for people to reach out to you and talk to you. And I know how much you talk about it means to you. So
yeah, man,
definitely.
It's always so good for me, right? Like, I get to hear, like, think about this, right? Like, this is a platform that, I would have never met you, right? Like, and
right.
Man, I get to talk to you and like, I get to hear a little bit about what your life's like. I get to ask you, like, dude, I've asked you more questions than you've asked me on this call. Right. And so it's just like, it's an awesome, for me, I love it. Right. Me and Knives were actually talking about it before I came on the show. Like, I love it. Like I get more out of this than you guys ever could, because we would have, it's just an opportunity. I would have never got to meet you, and I get to meet you, and and it's kind of a cool deal, right?
Definitely. And actually, I just listened to your podcast the other day. What's the name of it? You were on that dude's show.
Joe, are you talking about Joe Rogan, or are you talking about Jocko?
No, neither one. It just came out a few days ago. Here, I can look it up real quick.
Oh gosh,
it was
scary.
Courage and Sacrifice.
Oh yeah.
Data Center Revolution.
Yeah. With Kirk O'Fell.
Yeah, that was excellent, man. I think that was probably, out of your Jocko one, the Joe Rogan, all that, I think that was truthfully probably the best one. If anybody hasn't checked that out, I'd definitely recommend it.
Hell yeah, man. Kirk is such a good guy, right? Like he's a submariner. I don't know how the hell you say it, but just a really good guy. He's got he's passionate about veterans, right? So just an awesome guy. And I bring him over to my gym and beat his ass all the time, So do you ever get down to Austin?
I've actually been to Houston. I've never been to Austin. I would love to take a trip though.
Well, listen, man, you ever get down here, you better swing by, and we'll get a little sweat session together. I
would absolutely love that. And I was actually going to ask you also, Are you going to be up this way, Northeast Ohio at all?
I honestly, I don't know at this point right now. Like I've got like a crazy schedule through the end of the year, but I don't know where I'm going to be at. I need to find a way where I can start posting where I'm going to be, like what area I'm going to be in. I've talked about that a couple of times, just never got to it. But as of right now, like not that I know of, the closest I'm getting is like, I've got a speech in Kentucky in like 4 weeks, but that's as far as I know where I'm going to be,
Okay, I got you. I have some family from Kentucky. I don't know. I know the town. I've never been to it. Maybe you would know.
What part?
Olive Hill.
Olive Hill? No.
It's like some real small town. I don't even know.
What part of Kentucky? Olive Hill? I'm gonna look it up too. While we're talking,
Olive Hill, Kentucky is over off of Route 64, right around Moorhead.
Oh yeah. So you're talking about out east. Oh yeah. So my brother was born in Moorhead Hospital.
Okay.
So yeah, you're talking about out east, man. That's right there near. If you went south a little bit, you'd get into the Hatfields and McCoys.
Wow.
Yeah, I know exactly where it's at. Well, that's cool, man. Well, I appreciate you calling in, brother. Like, it's good to meet you.
Dakota, thank you. It was so nice meeting you as well. Hopefully I get to talk to you again.
Hell yeah, brother. I hope so. I hope you have a great day. Hey, and be careful, all right?
Hey, you do the same, brother. You're out there saving lives and doing great stuff.
Hell yeah,
Take it
brother.
easy, bro.
See you, man.
All right. Yep.
What an awesome guy, Knives. You know what I mean?
Cool dude for sure. Glad he gave us a call. We're doing things a little different. It's on a Sunday instead of a Tuesday, so we're seeing a different crowd, I think.
Yeah, we're getting. You know who I've been missing though?
Our trucker friend.
Yeah. Hopefully this is him. Hey, it's Dakota with the Your Human podcast.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm calling from Fort Worth, Texas. I just have a couple questions for you.
Hell yeah, I'll be in Fort Worth tonight.
Oh, sweet. Good deal, man. That's awesome.
What's going on?
Well, I just wanted to ask you, when are you going to run for political office?
Man, you know what? You just had to do that. Man, as of right now, like, if I thought that I would be able to have an impact, I would do it. But I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that it would. I don't know that I'd be able to make the change that I want to make. And I feel like right now, like, people need hope. And I think that I can do that without stepping into the political arena. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand.
I mean,
understand what you're saying.
Because the problem is like to really influence change, you'd have to go for a big position, right? And, you ain't gonna make no changes as a senator or congressman right now until you're years in. And so it's just, man, I don't know. I want to do it. I would love to do it to go up there and fight for what's right. But I mean, gosh, it takes a team. It doesn't, you know what I mean? And I don't know. I mean, it's not even, Congress against Senate. It's not even, it's Republicans against Republicans, Democrats against Democrats, right? I mean, it's just crazy right now.
It's a mess right now. It's a real mess. But look, if you ever decide to do it, then hopefully you can get the right connections to help you out.
Yeah.
And I hope that if you do get elected, you don't, become a sellout or anything like that, which I'm sure you won't be. But
no chance. Listen, there's only one thing I know. There's only one thing I know, and that's to be me. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. We need more people like that, and more than ever right now.
Well, I appreciate that.
But anyway,
man.
Thanks for answering that question. My other question is, they're building the Medal of Honor deal here in I think it's Arlington there by the Dallas Cowboys deal. Or do you have any, were you in on any of that, or what do you know about that?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot about it. I get updates from the project manager we get an email, I think weekly. I'm not into it, right? I'll tell you why. People can hate me or not over it. I don't do anything or stand for anything when it comes for that unless it helps and benefits and represents all veterans. I'm just not supportive of any of that, right? I have never, and I will never, ever support or push or use the Medal of Honor to do anything to just benefit me. Like, if I have to use it and I can use it, I'll use it to benefit and help all veterans. And I just, when it comes down to the millions of dollars that are going into places like that, I just don't feel great about it, because I feel like that money could be used to help homeless veterans out there, veterans that can't pay their bills right now, veterans that need jobs. And I just feel like it could be used a lot better to that than to just recognize Medal of Honor recipients.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just looking at something on Facebook, and they were talking about the Navajo code talkers, that they were needing an extra $50 million or something for their museum, which, hey, a museum is great, but it's like $50 million, that could go a long ways to help, a lot of veterans and all that stuff. So
yeah, and that's my place, right? Like, it's not a popular opinion, right? Like, I get heat off of it and all this, but man, like, the only difference in me and anybody else that served is the opportunity that was put in front of them, right? And
yeah,
if I can't use what I've got to do good for all, then Like, how am I any different than a politician if I'm just doing shit that's good for me?
Right. Yeah. There's too much bureaucracy and corruption right now, and it's really sad. But hopefully things will get better.
It's going to come around. It's going to be good, man.
We got to start. We got to start in our hometowns and cities and work our way back out and do things right.
We got.
But anyways,
we got to start with ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to better ourselves and our families and friends and
yes,
all that stuff. So
yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, thanks very much. It was an honor to talk to you, and I hope the best for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for calling in, man. I really appreciate you. I hope you have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
See you, buddy. What a good guy.
Cool dude. I got a question for you. Who are 3 people you look up to and why?
I look up to Jared Johnson, right? I mean, he's a hard dude. I just have so many people, right? Like, I couldn't narrow it into 3. A real close friend, Admiral McRaven. The guy's wisdom and his thought and his intelligence and his perspective is just so unique, right? And it's so thought out. It's not reactive. Just an awesome guy, right? I go down, I have tons of them. I have literally and that's the one thing that I've been able to do my whole life is I've been able to be surrounded by people way better than me. And therefore I've never had an opportunity to fail because anywhere I've looked, I've been able to see right. And you know what I mean? And so I'm just so fortunate in that way. So like there's a lot of them, right? I mean, Governor Perry, Marcus Luttrell, Morgan Luttrell, there's just so many good people out there to just, I mean, honestly, I couldn't put it into 3 because, and I guess maybe this is a first world problem, but I'm just surrounded by, so many good people.
On that note, how do we surround ourselves by so many good people?
You have to be a good person, right? Like, it's not about, you don't have to know everything they know, but you have to have the basic building blocks, right? And so nobody wants to be around people who are just takers, right? Like, you have to be able to find a way to add value. And, all of it's very, the better you get, like it's kind of like a shell on a I think it's crabs. I think crabs outgrow their shells. But like, the more you grow and the better you get, people either stay alongside you and they grow with you, or you outgrow them. But you have to always identify that, because as soon as you outgrow the circle that you're in, you have to go find that new circle, and you have to always be, keeping that circle better than you so that you can keep growing and keep following. And because if you don't, then what will happen is you'll have a circle that you're the best everywhere you look. And that's when you stop growing and you stop getting better and you stop finding challenges. And what will happen is that'll turn to internally on you. And, we all need to be challenged. I believe that everyone on the face of the planet wants to be needed. They want to be valued. They want to provide some type of value. And then they all want to be challenged and to grow. And I just think that, if they can't find positive challenges, then they find negative challenges, right? And so, the more that we can create our own challenges that make sense to the person that we want to be, you're going to have challenges no matter what. Like, no matter what, you're going to have challenges. It's whether you get up in the morning. I use this analogy all the time. Whether you get up in the morning and you choose to sleep in, and you choose to be unhealthy, and you choose to be overweight, and you choose to because you don't want to go to the gym, that's a hard way of life in itself. It has its own challenges. If you choose to get up in the morning and you choose to go to the gym instead of laying in bed, and you choose to go work out and do something that's healthy for you, that's a challenge, and it's hard as well, right? Both are hard, but which one's going to get you the results that you want? And so you have to you can either choose your heart, or your heart's going to choose you. And so I just believe in choosing my heart, and the more hard things I can do, the better that I know that I'm going to grow and be better from it, right? There is no growth without challenges and struggle. Like there just isn't. Nowhere in the history of growth or people getting better do you hear them saying, "Well, it was just given to me and it was easy." Absolutely not, right? We all know those kids who just got money handed to them and they just turned into pieces of shit, right? It's because there was no struggle. There was no struggle, and because there's struggle, there's worth. Right? Like where there's struggle, there's worth, right? When you go into the gym and you see how much pain and how much struggle it takes to burn 500 calories, you think about drinking those 2 fucking Cokes the rest of the day, right? You think about what work it took to get rid of that, right? And so, I just think that we all have to choose our own struggle and put those challenges in front of ourselves in order for us to continue to grow.
Well said. Got a question from Courtney. My career ended so soon, only did 5 years, got out as sergeant, but the dream was 20 plus years. I don't fit in as a civilian. It's been 8 years since getting out. It's heartbreaking and was out of my control. How do you handle grief and loss associated specifically with the military? Is there anything else you wish you could have done?
Well, you have to, Courtney, great question. And I see veterans struggle with this all the time. You have to, before you can become where you're at, you have to let go of where you were. Right? Like it was hard the first day that you didn't have to, like the first day you went from middle school to high school. It was hard the first day you didn't fit in when you didn't fit in the first day you went to high school. You didn't fit in the first day you went to the military. You didn't fit in. But you would have never fit in if you tried to continue to be a civilian and be in the military. Now that you're out, you have to take pride in want to fit into being civilians, right? Like veterans aren't that much different than civilians. They're just civilians that chose to serve, right? Like it's like the difference between the Army and the Marines and everything else, right? We of all people are more adaptable than anybody. We should be. And so what I would tell you is if you take the same pride in becoming and being a civilian that you took in being in the military, don't let 5 years of your life define the next 45, 55, however old you are, 75, hopefully 65. Don't let those 5 years hold you back from being great at what's going to be the majority of your time. And so that's what, I always hear the term, once a Marine, always a Marine. Well, that works out until you get out of the Marine Corps and you're trying to be a Marine living in the civilian world. Of course you don't fit in. It doesn't fucking work. Once a Marine, now I'm a civilian and I take the same pride and oath. And I mean, look, I didn't want to get out of the Marine Corps either. I didn't plan on getting out. I planned on doing 22. But that's the hand I was dealt. And all I can do is I can look at things as obstacles or I can look at them as opportunities, and I can take advantage of those opportunities. I can work with opportunities. An opportunity is no different than an obstacle, just the view that I'm going to have at it, right? Just a different mindset I'm going to use to navigate it. Both are going to have to be navigated. And so what I would tell you is the first step is you do fit in. The only thing about you that is different than every other civilian you meet is that you're a veteran, period. You're still a female. You still live in a community. You still love this country. You still want to work hard, right? There's more to relate to civilians with than there is to not relate to them with, but you have to be willing to not let veteran be your identity. It can only be a subtitle to the person that you are. You're Courtney. You're not a veteran. You're Courtney. Courtney is a veteran, but you're not a veteran. You're Courtney.
That's powerful stuff, man.
But great question. I dealt with that for a long time, and that's what I wish somebody would have said to me.
Great question, and it came from Facebook, so shout out to that.
Hell yeah.
What has been your proudest moment of your life? What has that been so far? I know it's a big one.
Man, just getting, I'll tell you, I looked at a picture of the other day. Lauren had us go take family pictures, which you could imagine how happy I was about that. But man, I looked at that afterwards and seeing how happy everybody was in that photo, and that's probably one of the proudest moments of my life. Is like, it ain't perfect, but man, look at what we've got right now.
That's brilliant. Got a missed call during that because I wanted to make sure we got that. Let's call back.
We're calling them now.
We're calling them. It's been a while.
Hey, what's going on, Dakota?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. We missed your call.
Oh, well, I called in a few minutes ago, and you did talk with me, so I called twice.
Oh, all right, cool, man. Well, have a good day.
All right.
See you, bro.
Man. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Called twice. That's cool.
Heck yeah, bro.
What music or podcasts do you work out to, or do you work out with no noise?
No, I work out with noise. The only thing I do without noise, and I actually just got them, they're sitting up there on the table, is I'm going to start trying to swim with some earphones. I guess you make them where you can swim with them now. I don't know how it's going to work out, but whatever. What do I listen to? Whatever, right? Like whatever I'm in the mood for, right? Like I think music and shit's like motivational. And I think that, motivational is kind of like feelings, and it's just wherever you're at.
What is your go-to way to deal with anxiety?
My go-to way to deal with anxiety, to not get it. I'll be honest, like I don't really have anxiety anymore. So, and I think that a lot of that anxiety stems from us not knowing and not being true to ourselves. Anxiety to me is, yeah, I get it. There is a core to anxiety, right? Like anxiety is a factor. Like it's the outcome of a problem. And so I think you got to dig down to the problem, right? And so we all know, I feel like we all know what we need to do and what we should do. But I feel like we all avoid it at the expense and then wonder why we have anxiety. And it's like, be you. Like look in the mirror and because we've been so, especially our generation, we have been so what's the word I'm thinking of? We have been so conditioned to blame everybody else and big systems, big pharma, everything. We've been conditioned to blame them. And I truly believe that the reason we've been conditioned to blame them and put our problems on them is because when we're blaming them, we are recognizing that we need them. And if we need them, then it's kind of like a drug dealer, right? And so I just think like for anxiety, look, like the basics, right? If you're taking in 900 milligrams of caffeine a day or 600 and you have anxiety, well, that could be part of it. If you're eating a shit ton of sugar, that could be part of it. If you're not sleeping for 8 hours, that could be part of it, right? Like there's all, if you're not drinking a gallon of water a day, that could be part of it. If you're not exercising, that could be part of it, right? And I just think that like we've got to make sure that we do the check marks, that we're doing what our part in this to fix this problem before we start going and needing others to fix it, right? So like if you are in a terrible marriage, do something about it, right? If everything around you is chaotic, well, that could be part of your anxiety. So you need to fix it, right? But so many times we are so willing to live with the problem we have because of the fear of the problem that we might have, it's like, look, you already, like, how much worse is your anxiety going to get? I mean, you might as well, at least I live by the motto of either make it better or make it worse, but shit, don't stay in the same place that you don't want to be.
Got someone from YouTube saying humans didn't evolve to sit in the house all day. That'll make you crazy.
I mean, absolutely, right? Like if you're not exercising, if you're not out doing shit, most people with anxiety are fucking bored.
Jacob from Facebook says, I read your book, Into the Fire. It's a great book. Another example how the government screws over our wonderful military. It made me angry, then sad. I will admit that I cried. Now I'm happy to know that you're doing well and still fighting for your brothers and sisters. God bless.
Yeah.
God bless you, brother.
Yep. You know, but the problem is that we went in there, you know, that day thinking that someone was going to come save us, right? That is a false way of life that so many of us get accustomed to living, is that Amazon's always going to be there, that we don't have food in our house for if the grocery stores go down. I mean, like, you know, it's this false security blanket that someone else is going to take care of us is absolutely false.
I think we may get a call here in a bit, but tips on not letting life get in the way of your goals.
Well, know your goals, right? Like go all in, as Nick Bear once told me. You know, I was telling Knives earlier, you know, I wrote this down the other day and I said that, you know, for me, going forward, because I want to level up, that 0% is the margin of error that I'm okay with going forward. 0%. Everything that's whether it's 1% or 5% in the margin is a miss. It's not a close hit. None of that. It's a fucking miss, right? Because that's how good I want to be. That's how great I want to fucking be. The difference between good and great is 0% of fucking margin of error.
What drives your self-beliefs even when people are telling you that you're doing it wrong?
I don't take advice from, like, here we go.
Pause.
Hey, what's going on? It's Dakota. It's Your Human Podcast.
Dakota! What's going on, brother?
What's up?
Not much, man. Haven't talked to you in like 3 weeks, brother.
I know. Where you at?
Oh, man, been finishing the book that I'm writing, and I'm been, you know, with the kiddo. She's starting school. And then I'm also, hold on a minute, I apologize. And also just been following you, man, and stalking you like I always do, you know.
Hell yeah, man. Everything
Listen,
good?
I'll make it quick for you, brother. I got to get you on the show, and I want to get you in Missouri sometime, man, just to get you out here and get you out here and check out Missouri, man. I know you'd like it, and I'd love to just sit down and talk with you someday over dinner.
Hell yeah, bro. Listen, if I can ever get out there, I'm all in.
Yeah, I appreciate it, brother. I'll make it quick. I know you're a busy dude, and God bless you. I saw the events that you were doing and whatnot. Those were pretty cool.
Yeah.
My first question is, what was the most challenging of the events that you did for the fire competition? When I mean challenging, I don't mean hard. I mean like you were like, fuck, this sucks.
Yeah, man. Like the whole run, you know, when you're on air, it's like the whole run is just, it's a mind fuck, right? Like, you know, your legs are screaming at you, your energy system is just on overload. I mean, everything's in the red, right? And it's like, and you're just trying to push harder. And then, you know, like, for me, the hardest part is the tower. So the front half, we call the front half the tower. And so going up the tower, the hoist, and so like, that's the hardest part for me. Like I just trying to stay engaged up that. And, you know, there's a lot of technique to it. So, you know, for me, that's it, right? Like I'm really comfortable at going dark. So on the back half, it's just about going dark, right? Like, and if you notice on all my runs, both my runs, you know, once I hit that back half, like I can go as dark as I'm going to go, right? Like that's where I feel like, honestly, I feel the most comfortable in whenever I get to go dark, you know?
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. Does a lot about you too.
Yeah, it says I'm a sociopath, doesn't it?
I mean, hey man, I watch horror movies before I go to bed, brother. So I mean, what does that say about me?
So, well, we're twins.
Don't say that, Dakota. You know what I'm gonna say. I'm in the presence of greatness, bro.
yeah, right.
Brother,
Cool.
my second question to you is, I actually interviewed Susan Price. I believe you're well acquainted with her a while back.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, and this is just a question that's been on my mind, man. Like, what is one of the things? The Marine Corps is always the type of corps that's like your reward is being a Marine. You know, that's always the thing with them. What do you feel? Do you feel like that always, like, is that something that's culturally good for them, or is that something that's gotten them like at where they are? Or do you feel like that's something that should change?
What do you mean?
So I'll explain it. I got a friend of mine who's re-enlisting, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to mention his name because he said not to mention his name, but he's a 5. He's picking up staff.
Yeah.
And one of the things when he was like, well, hey, listen, what is there any incentives? And his major was like, yeah, you get to be a Marine. And he's like, well, you know, I'm a dad. I have a master's. I have all this. Is there anything else? He's like, yeah, you get to be a Marine. And, you know, me coming from the Army, and this may sound ignorant, that's why I'm asking someone with more experience. It just seems like it's like a nice way to like backhandedly tell someone like, we don't really have anything, and the honor of being with us is it, which I get it too, but I don't really understand if that's something that long-term, like culture-wise from the military, like that can like continue to happen. Just tell people that.
Did he re-enlist?
He hasn't, man. He's listening to this right now. I just don't want to say his name.
Yeah. So here's what I'll say, right? So I want to give you an example of when I joined. You know, when I joined in the height of the war was when they were doing, I mean, like you could get so the Marine Corps out of all the branches was the only one that didn't offer you a sign-on bonus. Right? Like you could go to the Army and get a $10,000 sign-on bonus or whatever it was, National Guard, same thing. The Marine Corps never offered a sign-on bonus.
Yeah. I got a pat on the back when I joined. I joined in 2008 and went to Iraq straight out of basic. So it's like, I kind of get it.
Yeah. So my thing is but here's the thing. Why did I join the Marine Corps over the Army recruiter that offered me the money? Right. And it was because I wanted the challenge and I wanted to be a Marine. I wanted to be the few, the proud. Right. And look, you see this a lot. You see a lot of guys after their first or second enlistment that go and, go to the Army or they went contract. I mean, they've done this forever, right? I think that for the Marine Corps model, because they are the smallest, the Marine Corps isn't having a recruiting problem right now.
No, the Marine Corps is the only branch in the past 2 years that have met standards. And I actually had another question about that, but I want to finish.
So let me finish this one. But so I think, look, I think he should do what's best for his family, right? Like what's best for him. And look, if he needs more money, then and rightfully so, then 100% go go to the Army. I mean, there's opportunities there. There's plenty of places to get jobs, right? Like, I support that 100%, right? But I also think that the Marine Corps' model, I think it works for it. You know what I mean? And like, but no matter what, like, I do look. I don't think that anybody that serves or wears the nation's cloth or that has a badge on gets paid enough. So I'm not saying that.
We can argue that all day.
Yeah.
Man. Like,
so
that's the thing. It's such a hard debate.
So I just think that like, and you know what? Like, look, back in the day, like back during war times, I mean, you could get 20, 30, 40,000 for re-enlisting, right? Like, I mean, there were some big sign-on bonuses. So, I mean, I think it's the defense budget being cut right now. There's all these factors that are playing into this. And so I just think that, look, the time that's going on right now, what I would tell him to do is like, but here's what I would tell him not to do is do not re-enlist if he's not happy with everything else.
And that was sort of the advice that I gave him. I was like, does this make you happy? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, yes, you do. You fucking know, bro. Stop playing this mind game with me where you know what the problem, it's like a mission. We know what the problem is. We know how we're going to solve it. Stop trying to add shit that's, non-essential to the mission just so you can try to like negotiate in your own mind. Because, I want this and this.
Because here's the thing. There's a lot of benefits with being in the military. And there's also like a lot of benefits of being out of the military, right? I mean, look, it ain't cut and dry. I mean, look, he doesn't have to worry about healthcare. He doesn't have to worry about, you know what I mean? Like he gets a food allowance, I mean, housing, I mean, all this, right? So like there's a ton of benefits to being in the military. There's some of being, tons being out, right? It just depends on what's best for his family. But I think before he should say it's not good for him, he has to figure out what's going to be good for him.
And see, and that brings me to my next point is I think the problem also is a lot of times, and I did this in the beginning, is we look at things from the perspective of what is it giving to me, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of what can I give the XYZ situation and what am I going to get out of this? And then what can I do with what I got out of that situation?
Yeah. So
because if we're always just hunting money, then it's like, well, just go get an OnlyFans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing, right? Like, what do people value? It's their time. Mm-hmm. It's their money, mm-hmm. right? And it's their purpose.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah. And at the end of the day, you know that you need purpose, man.
Well, you do, right? And so here's my thing. And I tell service members all the time this, if you're getting out of the Marine Corps or the military because of the bullshit and because you're tired of being told what to do and you're tired of like the bullshit, as they call it, right? Well, that is the dumbest reason ever, because you're going to get out and still deal with the same bullshit when you're a civilian, right? So, mm-hmm. if it comes down to money and he wants to make more money, then get out and go get a job that makes more money. But guess what? He's not going to have the same security of a 4-year contract. He's not going to have the same amount of time of being home with his family. Probably. He's not going to have the same consistency. He's going to be a slave to the man because they're going to make sure they get their money's worth, right? If he wants purpose, then, and he doesn't believe in the purpose in the military, like it just depends on one of those 3 factors of which one's going to be the priority. But majority of the time, like it's like the guy who said, when they asked a contractor, they said, the guy goes, do you want it done fast? Do you want it done right? Or do you want it done cheap? Right? Because you can't get all 3. Like I can't do it. If you want it cheap and fast, what ain't going to be done right? If you want it done right and fast, it ain't going to be cheap. You know what I mean? Like, so you're going to have to pick which one you're willing to let go.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. And the thing is also is that I think age plays a part.
Oh yeah.
Because he's 29 and he's like, nah, man, I've done enough. I've done, X amount. And I'm like, listen, my man, like you're making, how do I say this? A lot of times, Dakota, I think that a lot of people make a permanent decision based on a temporary feeling. And I think that's what the situation is right here, brother.
Yeah. And look, and that's totally normal. Right. And look, I mean, he could be in a different place. And I tell people all the time, like, look, if you want to get out of the military, get out, right? Like the only thing more miserable than being in the military sometimes is being in there with people who don't want to be there. So if you don't want to get out, like go do it. And so, look, he maybe he knows his gut instinct could be right on this. Nobody will ever know. But I just think that what I would tell this guy to do if he's listening is to make sure it's a response and not a reaction. And the only way you do that is by getting a piece of paper out, going old school, and writing down the benefits of getting out versus the negatives, the pros and cons of getting out, and figure out what's best for him and his family. You're 100% right. And I do think this is a factor that, the military sometimes is not the best at is, a guy who joins at 17 or 18, by the time he's 29, life looks totally different. You know what I mean? By family and by, kids and needs, and their needs are a lot different. And so, look, I mean, if his needs are different and what's best for his family is different, then he should 110% go do what's best for them. But just know that, for every pro, there's also a con. He just has to be willing and know those before he does this, right?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, brother. I'm kind of glad that I talked to you about it because I was like, I kind of gave similar advice. There's like 4 things you said that I missed, but that's the line of thought that I had. Just didn't know how to like say it as eloquently. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just tell him to make sure that like, you know, I got it. Look, I mean, nobody likes their job. It's called work, not fun, for a reason, right? But like, is there a way to make or do something in the Marine Corps to help meet his needs, right? Like, you know, is there something he can do? Does he want to stay in, right? Like, you know, there's all these questions and factors that only he knows and only he can figure out. And he should, you know, just the only thing I would say is don't make a knee-jerk reaction. Don't do it because of you didn't get what you like. Because I'll tell you this, like if he chooses to get out just based off the lack of the bonus, I mean, he probably should have chose to get out even if they offered him the bonus.
Yeah, because at that point you might as well just sell your soul. You know?
I mean, yeah, because say this, right?
That's
like,
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And again, that's why I said that joke of like, and I meant that honestly. Like, if that's what it is, go get an OnlyFans. You know, not literally, but like, you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, that's the thing. Well, brother, I appreciate you, man, and I love everything
Hey,
you
brother.
do. I'm gonna email you pretty soon to get you on the show, man. I got a lot of questions for you, brother.
Let's do it, bro. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling in.
Take it easy, brother. Have
See
a
you.
great day.
You too, man. Bye.
How you doing, sir?
Good.
Good. I got one more question here
Okay.
from Courtney. Dakota, you sound super eloquent and well-spoken. Any advice on enhancing mental performance, trying to get better at studying? I've been hearing a lot about nootropics as alternatives to meds.
Yeah.
Have you tried any brain-enhancing natural herbs? How do you stay tip-top?
Cold plunge. You can't stay mentally tip top without being physically tip top, right? So I honestly, the only supplement I take is protein. Whenever I have to, I try to avoid it as much as I can. I try to just take in natural protein. Obviously it's more bioavailable, but I do drink Jocko's RTDs, which are by far the best tasting product on the market. So, and I hate protein, just so you know. So, so what I would tell you is trying to first optimize when you're like the distractions throughout your life and when you can be totally focused, right? So, you know, usually when people I see people like trying to go longer, it's like, how can you try to go shorter and just be more efficient, right? So for me, like working out and getting up in the mornings, my day goes amazing if I start my day at 4:30, work out, cold plunge, go into whatever I can, and go to bed early. Like that's kind of like, I don't work good. Like it's not a good work habit for me to try to get shit done past 8 p.m. at night. I never know if I'm going to be too tired. I never know how I'm going to feel, what calls I've got throughout the day. So I try to front load the day instead of, back load the day.
I think you hit the nail on the head right there.
So that's me. But listen, I just want to say thank you guys so much for episode 22. Another great day. You guys are amazing. Hope you guys have a great week and keep owning it.